Hi, welcome to my channel. My name's Elaine, and this session is going to be about how to strengthen our immune system through some really specific yoga poses. We're going to work on our endocrine system, which yoga is wonderful for helping. We're going to specifically work on our adrenal glands. We're going to work on our thymus gland and on our thyroid gland. So specific exercises to help stimulate and bring blood flow and attention to those parts of the body. So we're going to get started. You may wish to sit on a block to begin with if the hips, keeping them a little bit higher than the knees. This allows the muscles in the hips to relax. We're going to start by bringing our fingers into peace fingers and pressing those into the ground. Now for those of you who know mudras, this is called Bu Mudra, B-H-U. And it's a very grounding position for the body, and it helps to make us feel more secure and safe, but it also helps us to feel very lifted through the crown of the head, very strong and grounded like a mountain. So closing your eyes and just taking a few breaths and just noticing what the weather's like inside your body right now. How are you feeling? What is present? What do you notice as you observe your body and you take these few first breaths to begin your practice? Really important to remember to do what feels right for you throughout the practice today. And now slowly starting to lower your ear towards your right shoulder, feeling a nice stretch into your neck. And then as you exhale, dropping the chin toward the chest. And then slowly turning the head all the way to the left side. And then bringing your head back up on top of your shoulders. Good. All right, we're going to start to come off the block and come to sit down. We're going to cross the right leg in front of the left. And immediately we're just going to put our hands on our kidneys. And the kidneys are two sort of very smaller than my fists shaped organs, and on top of them sit like two little hats our adrenal glands that pump out hormones into the body, particularly when we're feeling stressed and anxious. So they can get really fatigued and exhausted if we've had a lot of stress. And just by bringing our hands and doing a nice massage and bringing some heat to this area, we can start to increase blood flow and a sense of support for them. So once we've got them nice and warm, we're going to do a few movements now that will help to bring more blood flow, squeezing and releasing action. So taking your hands up into the air, just take a nice stretch, and then bring the hands out to the sides. Good. We're just going to rotate around and bring our left hand to our right knee. Have your other hand behind you and start to twist to the right. You might want to turn your head left and right just to release any tension in the cervical spine. And as you breathe in, you get a little taller, and as you exhale, you squeeze and turn. Kind of like you're wringing out a wet dishcloth. And then just take the arms up into the air, and then open the arms nice and wide, rotate around, hitting my flowers to the left. Get a good hold on your knee, get tall through your spine, and then just start to rotate to the left. And again, how is the neck? Moving it slowly with awareness. Deep breath in and exhaling. Good. Okay, so now we're going to do a little side stretch. So pressing those arms out again, laying the right hand on the floor, relaxing the elbow, and stretching over to the side. And you might want to move the arm as you breathe. You might want to take it in little circles or big circles. You might want to just stay still. So taking time to see what would feel good. Asking your body what it wants and then doing that. And then sweeping the arms to the front and just bowing down your head towards the ground. Feeling a lovely stretch in the whole back body. And imagine yourself just breathing into those kidneys and adrenal glands. Let two little balloons puffing up and releasing with each breath. And slowly bring yourself back up. Take your feet apart and then cross them the other way. Bringing your hands together, pressing them as far apart as you can, landing your left hand softly, relaxing the elbow and stretching. And then just deciding, maybe this side wants something different. Maybe you feel more on this side. Starting to feel that lovely C shape of the side body, this lateral extension. Not something we do much in the day, but so good for the internal organs and the muscles that help us to move sideways. And then slowly sweeping yourself around and coming forward to relax the head down. And then slowly bringing yourself back up and coming onto your side and bringing your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees under your hips. So we'll just do some gentle cat-cow movements. So hips rise up, and then as you begin to round the back, tuck the chin to the chest. So sliding from the hips up, and then dropping the tailbone down and feeling that switch. So this is a lovely movement. We're beginning to bring a little bit more sensation to the kidneys that are sat right at the bottom of our spine as we do this. I'm going to add a little bit more squeeze. So come down onto your elbows, forearms, good. And start to do a few more of these movements. Gazing between the knees and the heels as you look rounded. And just gazing past the front of your mat as you arch. And now beginning to extend the back leg and lift it away from the ground. And then exhaling, rounding the knee to the nose. Good, so feeling that lovely stretch. And what we're really doing here is we're squeezing the adrenal glands and then stretching. So bringing blood and attention in and then space. Good, just do one more. We'll switch sides, extending that leg back, lifting it as high as you wish, and then squeezing in. Last one. Lovely. And now bringing the big toes to touch, taking the knees apart, and just laying down towards the floor. And you may wish to keep your arms resting here, or you can go back to those kidneys and give them another nice little massage, telling them how much you appreciate them helping you, and just telling them to relax. Now bringing yourself up onto your hands and knees, we're going to take our back leg forward, coming into deer pose. So bringing the shin parallel to the front of the mat, bringing the knee to the foot, and then taking the back hand behind you, front hand onto your hip, fingers facing in as you lift the buttocks and rotate. So another little gentle twist. So when we work on the hips, we're working a little bit on the reproductive organs and the hormones that support our balance of estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone in the body. And then we're going to lean forward and just lay over our legs. If this isn't giving you much sensation, you may wish to transfer into pigeon pose by extending your front leg and then bending and lifting your back buttock off the floor and coming into this position. Just seeing what feels best for your body on this side today. I'm staying with deer pose. And then slowly bringing yourself up. I'm going to take that front leg, we're going to cross it over, and we're going to come into square pose as we roll forward. For those of you who aren't feeling much there, you can bring the top foot up onto the back knee into fire log pose, and then lean forward. noticing what you're feeling in the body, maybe the hips in particular as you do this, letting the back of the neck be long, relaxed. And then just releasing that foot down to the back and extending the butt leg, opens, coming into another twist, hugging the back arm around that front knee, and then twisting. Wonderful pose for the hips, but also twisting the internal organs, working on our digestive system. So helpful because when our digestion is sluggish, you know, things just don't move well. This is not good for the whole body. Okay, good. And then switching sides. So we're going to bring that foot on the inside now and lower the heel to the inner thigh and let the knee relax. If your knee is in the air, just put a block under it to help it relax. Take your back arm behind you, front arm comes up, and you stretch over to the outside. And then when you feel okay, you can bring both arms. I just encourage you to keep the shoulders relaxed and lengthen the spine. And send the breath to the place where you feel the stretch. So we're pulling right across this area of the kidneys, the QL, and we're really putting some pressure into the digestive system by folding right over. And then slowly bring yourself back up and we'll change sides. So you've got the right leg in front this time with the left knee to the right foot. Taking your back hand onto your hip, start to rotate around and release. I'm hearing a little click in my knee. Clicking sounds are okay, but pain is not okay. Last one. Bowing down over your legs towards the floor. Remember, you can adjust this pose into pigeon if that would give you a deeper sense of stretch into your front hip. Slowly bringing yourself down and then crossing that left leg behind the top knee and coming into this nice cross-legged fold. And if that doesn't give you much sensation, then maybe bringing the back foot onto the front knee and then leaning forward. Yoga's always looking for places where we can create more openness. So we go into dark corners, which our hips are full of, and we send the light of our breath in there. And then we allow a few moments to just release tension, sending it out with our out breath and breathing in that beautiful fresh oxygen and bringing that into the place where we have the tightness, and releasing the stiffness on our out breath. Slowly coming up, good, and then extending that bottom leg and keeping the foot either on the outside or the inside of your knee. And then wrapping your arm around, twisting to the back now. Nice tall breath in, exhale, rotate. Gently bringing that foot on the inside of your groin, extending the front leg straight out, reaching up with the back arm over to the side of that leg, and then finding where the body tells you to stop. And then respecting that as you just relax your upper body over your leg, using the weight of your upper body to stretch the back of that leg. And then slowly bringing yourself back up. And we're just going to sit And we're going to move now to the thymus gland. So it's behind the sternum. We're just going to tap the chest. So these nice little vibrational sensations bring a flow of blood and neural connection to this area. So the thymus gland works really hard when we're young, and we need the protection. Works a little bit less as we get older, but it is the place where our lymphocytes, white blood cells that protect us, are produced. So we want to keep that nice and healthy to protect us. Okay, and then just a couple of movements to lift it up. And we're just bring a little bit of attention and spaciousness now. So opening your arms like wings behind you, and then round and giving yourself a hug. And then sweep out and in. Just flowing with your breath. Again, that pulsing, squeezing, and releasing motion, really good for our glands. Last one. Good. Okay, from here we're going to come onto our hands and knees, placing your hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips. Just start to lift your chest and then relax down. And lift and lower. You might want to stay with this movement, or you may wish to put a little bit more weight into your feet and lift your hips up. This comes more into the shoulders, but it is nice sensation to push down and just let the upper body rise. Good. Okay, from here we're going to come to lie on our back. I'd like you to have a block handy, so just come to roll down onto your back. So having stimulated the thymus gland, we're going to move now into working on the thyroid gland. So any inversion poses will help us to support this area. So we're going to start with a bridge pose. So start to bring your hands towards your heels, and then just start to rock your pelvis as you bring your tailbone off the floor, start to lift up. Whenever we get the hips and the chest above the head, we're bringing the flow of blood down into the thoracic area. So stimulating the thymus gland and the thyroid gland that sits at the space of our throat. We have two glands there, the thyroid and the parathyroid gland. Looks like a little butterfly in shape. Very important to balance the entire hormonal system and metabolic rate of the body. And slowly bring yourself all the way down. Okay, we're going to do that one more time. Start to slowly peel yourself up off the floor. And this time you may wish to take that block underneath you. You can have a cushion as well, or a pillow or a book even will work. And as you start to come down, just place your sacrum firmly onto that block. And that should feel really nice to rest. So we're going to have a little bit more blood flow now by lifting the knees off the ground, feet off the ground. And we're going to extend the legs up. Good. And then just start to do some nice swaying movements. And just notice how that feels. And the legs will start to tip back towards the head maybe. Just swaying, feeling free to let the legs express and go and move however they wish. So allowing all of the veins that pump the blood up to the heart to just relax, because gravity is now allowing all of the blood to come back down into the torso. So this is a really nice sensation for the thyroid gland, as I mentioned. But now, if you should wish, and if you're not menstruating right now for women, you can take a hold of your hips and begin to lift them off the block and hold your hip points. So we're not going all the way into anything fancy. We're just holding our hip bridges with our hands. And this, again, is a lovely inversion. We do a lot of inversions in yoga because it helps to stimulate the pineal and pituatory gland. These are the control centers, the hypothalamus, the part of the brain that controls our hormones, are used to send messages to all the other hormones in the body. So as we stay here, that is allowing a lot of blood and sensation into those areas. So whenever you want to, you come down. You don't have to wait for me. But if you're ready and you're feeling that you've got enough, then let's start to slowly bring the hips back down to the block, and then just hug the knees into the chest. Give yourself a nice squeeze, maybe massaging, and that block is pretty much on my kidneys right now, so they're getting a little bit more attention. Good. And then bringing the hips back and slowly lowering the feet one at a time to the floor, taking the block out, and then just extending the legs out to the edges of the mat. Placing the hands on the belly now, relaxing the shoulders, and just beginning to feel the belly rise and fall as the breath enters the body and leaves. So when we do deep belly breathing, we are helping the muscle, the biggest muscle of our respiratory system, our diaphragm, to get as much stretch and expansion and contraction as possible. As we breathe in, the reason we do that is the diaphragm has gone down, contracted towards the lower. That causes the internal organs to rise. And as the diaphragm relaxes and comes up, it empties the lungs, the breath goes out, and the belly softens. If you want to imagine this big parachute-like domed muscle that attaches onto your ribs underneath here and onto your lower back, the 4 lumbar vertebrae. It's really helpful to imagine that as you feel the belly rise and fall. And then we're just going to start to bend our knees, place our feet on the floor, and then start to gently roll over onto your side. And as you're ready, pressing into the mat, bringing yourself back up to sit. And we're going to finish with a mudra called Hakini mudra. And this mudra is when we bring all of the tips of the fingers together and we place them like a little bowl in the area of our lower pelvic area. And this mudra is helpful to balance all of the energetic channels and chakras, as we call them, in the body. So just close your eyes and begin to notice any sensations from holding your hands softly, the tips together. It encourages a full breath from the base of the belly all the way to the throat. And try to bring your attention to the space between your eyebrows, the place of our third eye, or our center of intuition, deep inner knowing. And allow yourself, when you come off your mat today, to be guided from within. There are always messages, thoughts, little surprise moments of clarity or intention that arrive that sometimes we just let go. But maybe today, as you go through your day, you will be conscious of any messages that you get. And maybe taking action on those might serve you well. And then just bring your hands together in Anjali Mudra. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. Please share any comments on the below, and if you haven't and wish to, please press the button to subscribe to my channel. If there's any classes you would like, do let me know. I love teaching mudras. There's not a lot out there I've seen. So hopefully your immune system is feeling better, and take care of yourself until we meet again on the mat. Namaste.